The ship moved through the stars like a silver needle threading through black fabric. Inside, Captain Day sat in his quarters, staring at the blue planet that grew smaller in the window. Earth. Home. He wondered if he would return as a hero or a failure. 3 months had passed since they left Earth's orbit. 3 months of traveling through space using the coordinates given by the Galactic Council. Now, finally, they approached Nexus Prime, the capital world where 47 alien civilizations gathered to decide the fate of worlds. Dr. Hana knocked on his door. She entered without waiting for permission. They had known each other too long for formalities. "Can't sleep either?" she asked. Day shook his head. "Tomorrow changes everything." "Or nothing at all," Hana said, sitting across from him. "They might just reject us and send us home." "Then we make them listen," Day replied. Ambassador Yuna joined them moments later. She carried a tablet filled with their presentation materials. Humanity's achievements, scientific discoveries, cultural developments, art, music, literature, everything that made humans special. "I've reviewed it 100 times, Yuna said. "It's perfect. It has to be perfect." The next morning, their ship docked at Nexus Prime. The station was massive beyond comprehension. It made Earth's largest cities look like small villages. Through the windows, they saw ships of every shape and design. Some looked like living creatures. Others resembled geometric crystals. A few seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. The delegation walked through corridors that adjusted to their biology. The air became breathable. The gravity matched Earth's. The temperature felt comfortable. All automatic. All controlled by technology humanity couldn't even understand yet. They entered the council chambers. The room was circular and vast. 47 seats arranged in ascending rows, each occupied by a representative of a different species. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien. One appeared to be made of pure light. Another seemed to exist as a collective of small flying creatures that moved as one dot at the center stood the Eternal Voice. It resembled a massive crystal formation that pulsed with inner light. When it spoke, the words appeared directly in their minds. "Humanity," the Eternal Voice began, "you have requested membership in the Galactic Council. Your application will be evaluated across 5 domains: technology, culture, philosophy, warfare capability, evolutionary potential. You will be tested. You will be measured. You will be judged." The tests began immediately. For 7 days, humanity's delegation answered questions, demonstrated Earth's capabilities, and explained human civilization. They showed holographic records of human history. They presented scientific theories. They played music and displayed art. They spoke of human dreams and ambitions. Some council members seemed impressed. Others looked bored. A few appeared hostile. The technology evaluation was brutal. The council's scientists examined human spacecraft, computers, and energy systems. Compared to galactic standards, everything humanity had built was primitive. Their fastest ships moved at barely light speed. Their computers used binary logic instead of quantum processing. Their weapons were chemical and nuclear instead of exotic matter manipulation. The cultural evaluation was worse. The council reviewed human history and found nothing but violence, wars, genocides, slavery, environmental destruction. The list of humanity's crimes against itself and its planet seemed endless. "You still have nation-states," one council member observed with disgust. "You divide yourselves by imaginary lines on a map." "You've barely left your home system," another added. "You've contaminated your own planet with waste. You've driven thousands of species to extinction." Day tried to defend humanity. "We've grown. We've learned from our mistakes. The last century has seen unprecedented cooperation. We've united our world. We've begun to heal our planet. 1 century, the eternal voice responded. We measure time in millions of years. Your progress is meaningless on any relevant scale. The philosophy evaluation examined human ethics and values. The Council found humanity's moral frameworks confusing and contradictory. Humans valued individual freedom, but also demanded social order. They claimed to love peace, but maintained standing armies. They spoke of equality, but allowed massive wealth disparities. The warfare capability evaluation was the only test where humanity exceeded expectations. The Council's military analysts studied human combat tactics, strategic thinking, and weapons development. They noted humanity's creativity in warfare, the speed of technological advancement during conflicts, and the ruthless efficiency of human military operations. They are dangerously good at killing, one council member noted. Perhaps too good. The final evaluation measured evolutionary potential. The council's biologists examined human genetics, psychology, and adaptability. They found humans to be physically weak compared to most spacefaring species. Human lifespans were short. Human bodies were fragile. Human minds, while creative, were prone to irrationality and emotion. After 7 days, the council deliberated. The human delegation waited in their quarters. Hours passed like days. Days passed like years. Finally, they were summoned back to the chambers. The eternal voice spoke. Its words felt heavy, final. Humanity, we have reviewed your application. We have tested your civilization across all relevant domains. We have reached a unanimous decision. Day felt his heart pounding. Beside him, Hannah gripped the armrest of her chair. Una stood perfectly still, barely breathing. Your application is denied. The words hit like a physical blow. Denied. After everything. After all the preparation. After all the hope. You are too primitive, the eternal voice continued. Your technology is insufficient. Your culture is violent and unstable. Your philosophy is immature. While your warfare capability is notable, it only proves your dangerous nature. Your evolutionary potential is limited by your biology and psychology. Furthermore, another council member added, you are too unpredictable, too chaotic, too individualistic. You lack the discipline required for galactic civilization. The eternal voice pulsed brighter. Therefore, we impose a quarantine on your solar system. You are forbidden from expanding beyond your home star for 1,000 of your years. This time will allow you to mature, to grow, to become worthy of joining galactic society. If you attempt to violate this quarantine, your civilization will be dismantled. Your worlds will be sterilized. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Una found her voice. You're imprisoning us for crimes we haven't committed. You're punishing us for not being like you. We are protecting the galaxy from you, the eternal voice replied, and protecting you from yourselves. In 1,000 years, you may reapply. Perhaps by then, you will be ready. The meeting ended. The delegation was escorted back to their ship. Within hours, they were ordered to leave Nexus Prime. The journey home took 3 months. 3 months of silence. 3 months of shame. 3 months of growing anger. When they finally reached Earth, Captain Day stood before the United Earth Assembly. Thousands of representatives from every nation filled the chamber. Billions more watched through broadcasts around the world. They delivered the news, rejected, quarantined, imprisoned in their own solar system for 1,000 years. The chamber erupted. Some representatives wept. Others shouted in rage. A few called for immediate military action against the council. President Tay called for order. When silence finally returned, he spoke calmly, but his words carried steel. The Galactic Council has made their decision. Now we must make ours. Do we accept their judgment? Do we wait 1,000 years in isolation? Or do we show them exactly what humanity is capable of? The chamber exploded with voices again. But this time, they weren't crying. They were roaring with determination. In his quarters that night, Day looked out at Earth, the blue planet that the Council had dismissed as primitive and violent. The home world that would now be his species, prisoned for 10 centuries, unless humanity did something about it. He pulled up his personal computer and began writing. A proposal, a plan, a vision for humanity's future that didn't involve waiting for the Council's permission. By morning, his report was complete. Its title was simple: The Outer Reach Initiative. Humanity had been cast out. Now they would respond. President Tay sat at the head of a table that stretched the length of the room. Around it sat the most powerful people on Earth: military commanders, scientists, engineers, diplomats, business leaders. They had gathered in secret, deep beneath the United Earth headquarters in Geneva. On the walls, screens displayed the same information over and over: the Council's rejection, the quarantine boundaries, the punishment for violation, 1,000 years of isolation. We need to discuss our options realistically, President Tay began. The Council has technology we can barely comprehend. Their quarantine system surrounds our entire solar system. Any ship that tries to leave will be detected and destroyed. General Soong stood up. He was old, scarred from wars fought before Earth's unification. Then we don't leave. We build up. We develop our technology. We make Earth strong enough that in 1,000 years, we'll be the ones making the rules. 1,000 years, Dr. Hannah said quietly. 50 generations. Everyone in this room will be dust. Our children will be dust. Their children will be dust. So we accept it? General Soong shot back. We just sit here and wait? I didn't say that, Hannah replied. She stood and walked to one of the screens. With a few gestures, she pulled up her research data. I've been studying the Council's quarantine technology. They use a network of satellites positioned throughout our solar system. These satellites detect any ship trying to cross the boundary and alert Council forces. We know this already, someone said. But here's what you don't know, Hannah continued. The system has a weakness. The satellites communicate using a specific frequency band. If we could disrupt that communication, we could create blind spots. Small ones. Temporary ones. But enough to slip ships through. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what she was suggesting. Ambassador Yuna spoke carefully. If we violate the quarantine, the Council will retaliate. They promised to sterilize our worlds. They promised to sterilize us if we expand beyond our star, Hannah corrected. But what if we expand to places they don't know about? Places they don't monitor? Engineer Gia had been quiet until now. She was young, barely 30, but brilliant. She had been working on FTL drive systems since graduating university. Now she activated her own presentation. The Council uses quantum fold drives, Gia explained. They fold space to travel faster than light. It's efficient, but it leaves a signature. A wake in spacetime that can be tracked. She pulled up her designs. I've been developing something different. A dimensional slip drive. Instead of folding space, it slips between dimensions. It's slower than the Council's drives, but it leaves no wake. No signature. No way to track it. Does it work? President Tay asked. In theory, Gia admitted. I've run thousands of simulations. The math is solid. But I need resources to build a prototype. Massive resources. General Soong leaned forward. If we could slip past the quarantine without being detected, if we could reach unexplored space and establish colonies, if we could do all this in secret. He paused. Then we wouldn't be violating the quarantine. We'd be ignoring it. It's still incredibly risky, Yuna argued. If they catch us, if they find our colonies, they'll destroy everything. Then we build our colonies far away, Hana said. Beyond their territory. Beyond their scanning range. In regions of space they've never explored. Captain Day had been listening to everything without speaking. Now he cleared his throat. You're all dancing around the real question. Are we willing to bet humanity's survival on this plan? Because that's what we're talking about. If we fail, if we're discovered, the Council won't just destroy our colonies. They'll come for Earth. The room fell silent again. Everyone knew he was right. President Tay looked around the table. We need to vote. But before we do, I want everyone to understand what we're choosing. If we accept the quarantine, humanity stays safe. We develop slowly. We wait our 1,000 years. Maybe it works out. He paused. But if we reject the quarantine, if we take this risk, we're betting everything. Our entire species. Every human alive and every human who will ever be born. We're betting that we can outsmart civilizations millions of years older than us. We're betting on ourselves, Day said simply. Tay nodded. Yes, we're betting on ourselves. So I'm asking you, what do we choose? He called for a vote. One by one, hands went up. Some hesitated. Some raised their hands immediately. But in the end, every single person in that room voted the same way, unanimous. Humanity would take the risk. The next morning, President Tay made a public announcement. He told the world about the vote. He explained the plan in broad terms. He was honest about the dangers. And he asked Earth's population to support the decision. The response was overwhelming. Within days, volunteers flooded recruitment centers. Engineers, scientists, pilots, farmers, doctors, teachers. Everyone wanted to be part of humanity's future. Everyone wanted to prove the Council wrong. Construction began immediately. In Earth's orbit, massive shipyards took shape. On the Moon, factories produced components around the clock. On Mars, training facilities prepared colonists for life in deep space. Gia's dimensional slip drive moved from theory to reality. The first prototype was completed in 6 months. It was crude, inefficient, barely functional. But it worked. A small drone equipped with the drive slipped through the quarantine boundary and back without detection. The Council never noticed. Over the next 2 years, the drive was refined. Made more powerful. Made more reliable. Made capable of moving large ships across vast distances. The first colony ship was completed 3 years after the vote. It was massive, designed to carry 10,000 people and everything they would need to establish a new world. It had farms, factories, medical facilities, schools. It was a small city in space. Captain Day was appointed supreme commander of what they now called the Outer Reach Initiative. His mission was simple in concept, impossibly difficult in execution. Take humanity to the stars. Build colonies in secret. Develop technologies beyond what the Council thought possible. Create an empire that could stand against galactic civilization. Dr. Hana would lead the scientific research programs. Engineer Gia would continue developing new technologies. Ambassador Yuna would handle diplomatic relations once they encountered other species. General Soon would command the military forces that would protect the colonies. The night before the first colony ship launched, Day stood in the observation deck and looked down at Earth. 7 billion people lived on that blue world. They were all counting on him. On this mission, on this impossible dream, Hana found him there. Having second thoughts? 1,000 of them, they admitted. What if we're wrong? What if the Council finds us? Then we fight, Hana said. Or we run. Or we hide. Or we die. But at least we tried. At least we didn't spend 1,000 years in a cage. Is that enough? Day asked. It has to be, Hana replied. The launch happened at dawn. The colony ship, christened New Hope, activated its dimensional slip drive and vanished from Earth's solar system. No fanfare. No celebration. Just a quiet departure into the unknown. Over the next year, 5 more colony ships followed. Each headed to a different star system, carefully selected from astronomical data. Systems far from Council territory. Systems with planets that could support human life. The gamble had begun. Humanity was expanding into the galaxy without permission, without protection, without any guarantee of success. But they were moving forward. And for a species that had been told to wait 1,000 years in isolation, that was victory enough. In his office, President Tay marked the locations of the 6 colony ships on a star chart. 6 small dots in an infinite galaxy. 6 seeds that might grow into something extraordinary. Or 6 targets that might bring doom to Earth. Only time would tell which. 50. Years had passed since the first colony ship left Earth. 50. Years of secret expansion. 50 years of building something the Galactic Council said was impossible. Wu stood on the observation deck of his colony and looked out at the world below. New Sol, they called it. The first successful human colony outside Earth's solar system. A planet with blue oceans, green forests, and cities that glowed in the night. Home to 2 million people now. He was old. Gray hair, weathered skin, tired eyes. He had been young when he left Earth on that first colony ship. Now he governed a world. Governor, his assistant called. The communication from Earth is ready. Wu walked to the communication center. On the screen, he saw the current Earth president. Not Tay anymore. Tay had died 20 years ago. This was President Mino, young and energetic, representing a new generation of leadership. Governor Wu, Mino said. I'm contacting all colony governors with an update. As of today, we have 47 established colonies. 47. The same number as the Galactic Council's member species. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a message. Each colony is thriving, Mino continued. Total human population outside Earth now exceeds 30 million. Agricultural colonies are producing surplus food. Industrial colonies are manufacturing advanced technology. Research colonies are making breakthrough discoveries. Military colonies are training defense forces. Wu listened carefully. The expansion had been carefully planned. Each colony specialized in specific functions, but each was also self-sufficient. If one fell, the others would survive. But there's more news, Mino said, his expression growing serious. 3 months ago, Colony 18 encountered an alien species. Not the Council. Something else. This was new. In 50 years, humanity had avoided all contact with galactic civilization. They had deliberately chosen empty regions of space, systems the Council had never explored. The species calls themselves the Vec, Mino explained. They're refugees. The Galactic Council rejected them 500 years ago for being too aggressive. They've been hiding in deep space ever since, barely surviving. What do they want? Wu asked. To join us, Mino replied. They've been monitoring our colonies. They're amazed by our technology, our expansion rate, our social structure. They're asking for an alliance. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. The moment when they would become more than just hidden colonies. The moment when they would become a true alternative to the Council. What was your response? Wu asked. We invited them to talks, Mino said. But I'm contacting all governors for input. This decision affects all of us. Do we stay isolated, or do we start building something bigger? Over the next week, the governors debated. Some argued for continued isolation. Others saw an opportunity. Finally, they voted. 32 governors in favor of alliance, 15 against. The alliance with the Vec was formalized 3 months later. It was a simple agreement. Mutual defense, technology sharing, open borders. No species dominated the other. No hierarchy. True partnership. The Vec brought their own strengths. They were excellent miners, able to extract resources from asteroid fields with incredible efficiency. They understood gravitational engineering, which helped humanity improve their ship designs. They had survived 5 centuries of isolation, which meant they knew how to make resources last in return. Humanity offered their agricultural technology, medical knowledge, and most importantly, their dimensional slip drives. The Vec had been using slow, conventional engines. With slip drives, they could expand beyond their small hiding places. Word spread. In a galaxy dominated by the Council's rigid hierarchy, news of a human Vec alliance traveled through underground networks. Other rejected species heard about it. Other oppressed civilizations learned about it. Other rebels discovered hope. Admiral Rin commanded the Outer Fleet, humanity's first true military force designed for deep space operations. She was young for such responsibility, only 40, but she had been trained since childhood for this role. Born on a colony ship, raised in zero gravity, educated in both human and now Vec military tactics. Her fleet consisted of 300 ships, small compared to Council forces, but advanced. Each ship used slip drives for unpredictable movement. Each ship carried weapons that combined human and Vec technology. Each ship was crewed by volunteers who believed in humanity's mission. RIN received a priority message from one of her scouts. Council ships had been detected in neighboring systems. Not military vessels. Survey ships. They were mapping regions of space they had previously ignored. "They're looking for us," her second-in-command said. "Then they're getting close." Rin replied. She immediately sent warnings to all colonies. Defensive protocols were activated. Military forces went on high alert. The 50 years of hiding might be ending. 3 weeks later, a Council scout ship entered the new Sol system. It detected the colony, the orbital stations, the defense platforms. It scanned everything with its advanced sensors. Then it turned and jumped away at faster than light speed. Humanity had been discovered. Wu called an emergency meeting with all colony governors. On his screen, 46 other faces appeared, each leading their own world. "They know," Wu said simply. "The question is, what do they do about it?" The answer came faster than expected. 2 days later, a Council transmission reached all human colonies simultaneously. It was broadcast on every frequency, impossible to ignore. The Eternal Voice spoke. Its words appeared in everyone's minds, just as they had 50 years ago when humanity was rejected. "Humanity, you have violated the quarantine. You have established colonies in forbidden space. You have allied with rejected species. You have defied the Council's judgment." Governor Wu stood in the central square of New Sol's capital city. Around him, thousands of colonists had gathered. On screens throughout the colony, millions more watched. "You were given 1,000 years to mature," the Eternal Voice continued. "You were given time to grow beyond your violent, chaotic nature. Instead, you have proven our assessment correct. You are dangerous. You are unpredictable. You are a threat to galactic order." The message paused. When it resumed, the tone had changed. Harder. Final. "Therefore, the Galactic Council has authorized military action. You will dismantle your colonies. You will return to your home system. You will accept the quarantine. If you refuse, your colonies will be destroyed. Your ships will be eliminated. Your worlds will be sterilized." Another pause. You have one standard galactic week to comply. This is your only warning." The transmission ended. For a moment, absolute silence filled New Sol Square. Then someone started clapping. Slowly at first, then faster. Others joined. Within seconds, the entire square erupted in applause. Not fear, not panic, Defiance.Wu understood. These people had been born on colony ships or on new worlds. They had never known Earth except through history lessons. They had built their lives here. They had created something new. They weren't going to abandon it because an ancient Council of Aliens told them to. He opened a communication channel to Earth. President Minho appeared on screen. "You saw the message?" Wu asked. "Everyone saw it," Minho replied. "The Council broadcast it to Earth, too. They wanted to scare us. Did it work?" Minho smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had made a difficult decision and accepted the consequences. The Council gave us a week to dismantle 47 colonies and convince 30 million people to abandon their homes. Even if we wanted to comply, we couldn't do it in a week. They know that. This isn't an ultimatum. It's a declaration of war. Wu nodded. He had reached the same conclusion. "Then we fight," he said. "Then we fight," Minho agreed. Across human space, preparations began. Scientist Haiyan and her team activated the quantum communication network they had been developing. It allowed instantaneous communication between all colonies, regardless of distance. No light speed delay. No time lag. Coordination that the Council didn't think was possible. Admiral Rin positioned her fleet strategically, not to protect every colony equally, but to create a defense network that could respond rapidly to threats. Mobile, flexible, unpredictable. The Veek mobilized their forces. Other allied species prepared their ships. The Free Systems Alliance, as they now called themselves, might be small compared to the Council. But they were united. They were motivated. They were fighting for their freedom. The week passed quickly. No human colony dismantled. No ship returned to Earth. No one surrendered. The Council's deadline expired and from deep space. Sensors detected the approach of 300 Council warships. The first battle was coming. Commander Yoon watched the tactical display with calm eyes. 300 enemy ships approached the outer colonies. Red dots on his screen, each representing a Council warship with technology centuries ahead of anything humanity had possessed 50 years ago. But that was 50 years ago. Status report. Yoon commanded. "All defense stations online," his tactical officer replied. "Outer fleet is in position. Quantum network is active. All colonies have evacuated civilians to underground shelters." Yoon studied the enemy formation. The Council ships moved in standard attack patterns. Organized, predictable, confident. They expected this to be easy. A quick punishment mission against primitive humans who had gotten too bold. "Relay to Admiral Rin," Yoon said. "Execute Plan Talon." Light years away, aboard her flagship, Admiral Rin received the command. She smiled. Plan Talon was her creation. Aggressive, chaotic, typically human. "All ships," she broadcast to her fleet. "Weapons free. Show them what we've learned." The Council fleet entered firing range of the first human colony. Their massive dreadnoughts powered up weapons that could crack planets. Their targeting systems locked onto orbital stations and surface cities. Then the humans struck first. From empty space around the Council fleet, human ships appeared. They had been hiding there, using engineered GS dimensional slip drives to stay invisible. Now they materialized at point-blank range and opened fire. Human weapons had evolved far, beyond chemical and nuclear devices. Plasma accelerators, borrowed from Veek technology. Quantum disruptor beams, developed by human scientists. Gravitational torpedoes that bent spacetime itself. Each weapon tested extensively, refined constantly, optimized for war. The Council's lead dreadnought took 6 direct hits before its shields even activated. Its hull breached. Atmosphere vented into space. The ship listed to one side, its engines damaged. Scatter formation. Rin ordered. Her ships spread out in 3 dimensions, moving unpredictably. The Council ships tried to track them, but couldn't predict their movements. Slip drives didn't follow normal physics. Ships disappeared from one point and appeared in another with no transition, no pattern, no way to anticipate. The Council fleet returned fire. Their weapons were powerful, sophisticated. When they hit, they destroyed human ships completely. But hitting a target that could teleport randomly was nearly impossible. The battle spread across the system. Human defense stations, positioned throughout the area, added their firepower. Automated drone swarms, controlled by scientist Hyun's quantum network, coordinated attacks with perfect timing. Every human asset acted as part of a single integrated system. Commander Yoon watched as the Council lost ship after ship. 20 destroyed. 30. 40. The enemy had superior individual firepower, but they couldn't adapt to human tactics. They fought like they always had, with centuries of established doctrine. Humans fought like desperate survivors who had spent 50 years preparing for this exact moment. "They're retreating," his tactical officer announced. Indeed, the Council fleet was pulling back. Not an organized withdrawal. A panicked flight. Ships breaking formation, jumping to faster-than-light speed without coordination, leaving damaged vessels behind. The battle had lasted 3 hours. The Council had lost 120 ships. Humanity had lost 41. For the first time in recorded galactic history, the Galactic Council had been defeated in military combat. Across human space, celebrations erupted. On New Sol, Governor Wu watched the news with mixed feelings. They had won this battle, but this was just the beginning. "Get me President Mino," he said. On Earth, the mood was less celebratory. President Mino sat in emergency meetings with military advisors. Yes, they had won. But they had also made an enemy of the most powerful organization in the galaxy. "They'll come back," General Sung warned. He was ancient now, barely able to walk, but his mind was still sharp. "They'll come back with more ships. They'll study our tactics. They'll adapt. Then we keep adapting faster," Mino replied. But something unexpected happened instead. The Council didn't immediately send more fleets. Instead, they tried something different. They sent diplomats. Diplomat Mina had joined the Outer Reach Initiative 20 years ago. She specialized in alien psychology, cultural negotiation, species integration. She had helped negotiate the alliance with the Vake, and had since worked with a dozen other refugee species. Now she faced Council representatives for the first time. They met on a neutral station, hastily established in empty space between human and Council territory. Mina arrived with a small security detail. The Council sent 5 representatives, one from each major faction within their civilization. The lead negotiator was a Torvin, a species that resembled large insects with crystalline exoskeletons. It spoke through a translator device. "Humanity has demonstrated military capability beyond our projections," the Torvin began. "This was unexpected, was it?" Mina asked. "Or did you just underestimate us? Because that's what you've always done?" The Torvin's antennae twitched. Annoyance, Mina's training told her. "We underestimated your rate of advancement," the Torvin admitted. "In 50 years, you have achieved what typically takes species 500 years. This is abnormal. This is human," Mina corrected. Another representative spoke. This one was alien, a species of energy beings contained in crystalline matrices. The Council wishes to negotiate a ceasefire. You will halt your expansion. We will end military operations. Both sides will maintain current territories. In other words, Mina said, you want us to stay in our box? A slightly bigger box than before, but still a box. We want stability, the alien replied. We want freedom, Mina countered. Freedom to grow. Freedom to explore. Freedom to build alliances with whoever we choose. The same freedoms you claim for yourselves. The negotiations continued for days. The Council offered concessions. Limited expansion rights. Observer status in Council meetings. Access to some Council technologies. They were willing to give humanity much more than they had 50 years ago, but they still wouldn't offer equality. You are too young, the Torvin explained. Your species is barely 10,000 years old. Council members are millions of years old. You cannot have equal voice with civilizations that old. Why not? Mina asked. What makes age more important than capability? We've proven we can innovate faster than you. We've proven we can adapt quicker than you. We've proven we can fight as well as you. What else do we need to prove? Stability, the Torvin replied. The ability to maintain civilization across millions of years. Not just grow fast, but grow wisely. Not just fight well, but know when not to fight. These things require time. The negotiations failed. Neither side would compromise on the fundamental issue. The Council wanted hierarchy based on age. Humanity wanted equality based on merit. While negotiations stalled, something remarkable happened across the galaxy. News of humanity's victory spread. Species under Council rule began to question their overlords. If humans could defeat the Council, what else was possible? Strategist Quan worked in military intelligence, monitoring communications across known space. His job was to intercept Council messages, decode their plans, predict their next moves. What he discovered shocked him. The Council is fracturing, he reported to President Mino. Their internal communications show massive disagreement about how to handle humanity. Some members want total war. They want to gather the full Council fleet and destroy every human colony. How many ships would that be? Minho asked. Thousands, Quan replied grimly. Maybe tens of thousands. We couldn't win against that. And the other faction? They want accommodation. They recognize that we're not going away. They want to find some way to integrate us into galactic civilization without losing face. What about the eternal voice? Mino asked. That's the interesting part, Quan said. The eternal voice has been silent. No communications. No guidance. It's like it's watching and waiting to see what happens. The situation remained tense for months. No major battles, but constant skirmishes. Council ships would probe human territory. Human ships would raid Council supply lines. Neither side committed to full war, but neither side backed down. Then new species began arriving at human colonies. Not refugees this time. Rebels. Species who were officially Council members, but were dissatisfied with Council rule. They came secretly, asking for asylum, offering intelligence, requesting help. Diplomat Mina worked 18-hour days processing requests, vetting applicants, establishing new alliances. The Free Systems Alliance grew rapidly. 20 species, 30, 50. Some brought valuable technology. Others offered strategic locations for bases. A few provided access to resources humanity desperately needed. Each new member strengthened the alliance and weakened the Council. The Council tried to stop this bleeding of support. They increased restrictions on member species. They tightened control. They punished those suspected of rebel sympathies. It only made things worse. Entire planets revolted. Council garrison forces were expelled. Systems declared independence. The galaxy, stable for millions of years under council rule, began to shake. Commander Yoon received reports daily of new allies joining the human cause. Each report made him more nervous, not less. "We're not ready for this," he told Admiral Rin. "We prepared to survive as hidden colonies. We prepared to fight defensive battles. We didn't prepare to lead a galactic revolution." "No," Rin agreed. "But that's what's happening anyway. So we adapt, like we always do." Deep in Council territory, the hardline faction made their move. Without full Council approval, they assembled a massive strike fleet. 5,000 warships. Their target, Earth itself. If they couldn't stop human colonies, they would destroy humanity's home world. Cut off the head. End the rebellion at its source. Strategist Quan intercepted the communications too late. The fleet was already moving, already past the point where they could be stopped. "How long until they reach Earth?" President Minho asked. 10 days, Quan replied. Earth, the birthplace of humanity, was about to face annihilation. Captain Day was 98 years old. His body was failing. Medical technology could only do so much. He spent most days in his apartment in Geneva, looking out at the same mountains he had seen his whole life. When the news came about the Council fleet heading toward Earth, his first thought was that he wouldn't live to see the outcome. His second thought was that maybe that was a mercy. President Minho visited him personally. The young leader found the old captain sitting by his window, wrapped in blankets despite the warm day. "Captain," Minho said, "we need your advice." "I'm retired," Day replied. "Have been for 20 years. You have better strategists now." "But none who faced the Council directly," Minho said. "None who stood in their chambers and heard their judgment. You know them. How do we fight 5,000 ships?" Day was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "You don't." Minho felt his heart sink. "You don't fight them," Day continued. "Not ship to ship. You can't win that way. Earth isn't like the colonies. We can't evacuate 8 billion people. We can't hide. We can't run. Then what do we do?" Minho asked. "You make it so expensive to destroy Earth that even victory would hurt them more than defeat," Day said. "And you make sure every species in the galaxy is watching when they make their choice." Over the next 7 days, Earth prepared. Every ship in the solar system was positioned for defense. Orbital stations were armed. Ground-based weapons were activated. The Moon and Mars sent their forces. Even civilian ships were equipped with whatever weapons could be mounted. But everyone knew it wouldn't be enough. Admiral Rin brought the entire outer fleet back to Earth. 300 ships. It was their full military force, leaving the colonies protected only by defense stations and local militias. "If Earth falls, the colonies fall eventually anyway," Rin explained. "We defend the home world with everything we have." The Vex sent their fleet. Other allied species contributed what they could. The Free Systems Alliance assembled nearly 800 ships to defend Earth. Against 5,000. Dr. Hana, now elderly herself, worked around the clock with scientist Hyan on a desperate plan. The quantum communication network that connected human colonies could be modified, turned into a broadcast system, not just for humanity, but for the entire galaxy. "We make the battle public," Hana explained. "Every species in the galaxy watches what happens. They see the Council trying to commit genocide against 8 billion humans. They see what happens when you defy the Council. Will that stop them?" Minho asked. "No," Hana admitted, "but it will change what their victory means." On the 6th day, Earth broadcast its message across every frequency, every communication channel, every network they could access. The message was simple. To all species in the galaxy, the Galactic Council is sending 5,000 warships to destroy Earth and kill 8 billion humans. Our crime is refusing to accept a 1,000-year quarantine. Our crime is building colonies without permission. Our crime is offering alliance to species the Council rejected. The broadcast showed Earth from space. Cities glowing at night. Oceans shimmering blue. Forests and farms and mountains and deserts. A living world full of people with hopes and dreams and families. We are not warriors seeking conquest. We are not criminals deserving punishment. We are people who want to be free. If you believe freedom is worth fighting for, then watch. Watch what happens when an ancient power tries to crush those who dare to stand up. The broadcast included live feeds from Earth's defense preparations. Families saying goodbye. Soldiers preparing for battle. Children asking their parents if they would survive. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched. Species under Council rule. Species allied with humanity. Even Council members themselves. Some watched with sympathy. Others with satisfaction. But everyone watched. Ambassador Yuna hadn't expected to ever visit the Council chambers again. She had been the one to receive humanity's rejection 50 years ago. She had thought her diplomatic career with the Council was over, but now she received an unexpected message. A private communication from Nexus Prime, from the Eternal Voice itself. She traveled alone to the neutral station where they had agreed to meet. When she arrived, she found herself in a small chamber with the crystalline being that had judged humanity all those years ago. Ambassador Yuna, the Eternal Voice said, its words appearing in her mind. You have returned. I didn't expect to, Yuna admitted. I didn't think you would want to speak with me. There are things you deserve to know, the Eternal Voice replied. Things that will not change the immediate situation, but may help you understand. Understand what? Why we rejected humanity, the voice said. The real reason. Yuna felt confusion. You told us. We are too primitive, too violent, too young. Those were true statements, the voice acknowledged. But not the complete truth. Humanity was rejected because the Council needed you to be rejected. I don't understand. The Eternal Voice pulsed with soft light. The Galactic Council is ancient, millions of years old. We have maintained peace, order, stability across thousands of worlds. We have achieved everything a civilization can achieve. We have advanced as far as advancement goes. And this is bad? It is stagnation, the voice replied. We stopped growing, stopped innovating, stopped dreaming. We became administrators of peace rather than builders of futures. Every species that joins the Council becomes like us, stable, safe, stagnant. Yuna began to understand. You rejected us to keep us different. We rejected you to see what you would do, the voice corrected. Some species, when rejected, accepted. They work slowly within the boundaries we set. They join us eventually, already molded to our ways. But we hoped humanity would be different. We hoped you would refuse, rebel, build something new. You wanted this? Yuna asked, feeling anger rise. You wanted conflict? You wanted war? We wanted change, the voice said. The Council is dying, Ambassador. Not physically, but spiritually. We have forgotten how to adapt, how to face challenges, how to grow. Humanity has reminded the galaxy what that looks like. You have created chaos, yes, but chaos that may save galactic civilization from its own success. Then stop the fleet, Yuna demanded. If this was your plan, stop the ships heading to destroy Earth. I cannot, the voice replied. I am not all-powerful. The Council is fractured. The hardline faction acts without full authorization. I can guide, but not command. The choice of whether Earth survives belongs to humanity now. How? Yuna asked. How do we stop 5,000 ships? The same way you have stopped everything else, the voice said. By being human. The 10th day arrived. The Council fleet entered Earth's solar system. Commander Yoon watched them appear on sensors. 5,000 ships. More firepower than humanity had ever faced. Enough to crack planets, to burn atmospheres, to sterilize worlds. All forces defensive positions, he ordered. The human fleet spread out. 800 ships against 5,000. The math was impossible. But they would fight anyway. The Council fleet advanced. Its commander, a Torvan admiral named Kresh, opened a communication channel. Humans, your resistance is meaningless. Surrender Earth, or we will take it by force. This is your final chance. Admiral Rin responded. Earth is not a possession to be surrendered. It is our home. If you want it, you'll have to kill 8 billion people and everyone who stands with them. The whole galaxy is watching. Is this the legacy you want? Is this what the Council has become? The Council maintains order, Kresh replied. You represent chaos. Chaos must be eliminated. The channel closed. The Council fleet prepared to attack. Then something unexpected happened. From the Council fleet, 10 ships broke formation. They moved away from their battle group and positioned themselves alongside the human defenders. This is Captain Vel of the Torvan 5th Fleet, a new voice broadcast. I cannot follow orders to commit genocide. My ship and crew stand with Earth. More ships broke away. 20, 50, 100. Council officers refusing orders. Council crews mutinying. Entire squadrons defecting to protect Earth rather than destroy it. Admiral Kresh tried to restore order, but his communications were jammed. Not by human technology, by his own ships. By Council personnel who had decided enough was enough, that the battle never happened. Instead, a standoff developed. The Council fleet minus its defectors. The Human Alliance plus Council rebels. Neither side able to attack without massive losses. Neither side willing to make the first move while the entire galaxy watched. Strategist Quan monitored communications across the Council fleet. What he heard amazed him. Crew members arguing with their officers. Officers arguing with their commanders. Entire ships debating whether to follow orders. The broadcast had worked. By making the battle public, by showing Earth and its people, by asking the galaxy to watch, humanity had made the choice personal for every individual in the Council fleet. After 3 days of standoff, Ambassador Yuna received another message. The Eternal Voice requested a meeting. This time not in private, in the full Council chambers. With all 47 members present, she arrived with Captain Day. He had insisted on coming, despite his age and failing health. I was there when they rejected us, he said. I should be there when things change. The Council chambers were exactly as Yuna remembered. The circular room, the ascending seats, the representatives of ancient civilizations. But the atmosphere was different, tense, divided. The Eternal Voice spoke to the full assembly. The situation at Earth has revealed fundamental divisions within this Council. We cannot agree on how to respond to humanity. We cannot agree on what humanity represents. We cannot even agree on whether they should be destroyed or embraced. The voice paused. This division exists because humanity has forced us to confront a question we have avoided for millions of years. What is the purpose of the Galactic Council? Is it to maintain order at any cost? Or is it to foster the growth of civilizations? A Torvan representative stood. Humanity violated our quarantine. They defied our authority. This cannot be tolerated. An Ilian representative countered. Humanity achieved in 50 years what we said would take them 1,000. They built alliances we thought impossible. They defeated our fleet. Can we afford to destroy such capability? The debate raged. Old species against young ones. Conservative factions against progressive ones. Those who valued order against those who valued growth. Finally, Ambassador Yuna was given permission to speak. She stood before the council that had rejected humanity 50 years ago. She looked at the same faces, the same species, the same power structure. But she was different now. Older, wiser, representing not just Earth, but a whole alliance of species. "You're asking the wrong question," she said. "You're debating whether humanity should be destroyed or accepted. But you don't have that power anymore. You can't destroy us without losing much of your own fleet. You can't accept us as subordinates because we've already built something that rivals your own civilization." She let that sink in. The real question is this: can the old and the new coexist? Can ancient civilizations and young ones work together as equals? Can we build a galaxy where age doesn't equal authority, where every species has a voice? Impossible, the Torvin said. There must be order. There must be hierarchy. Why? Captain Day asked. His voice was weak, but it carried. "I'm old. This young president leads Earth better than I ever could. Age brings wisdom, yes, but youth brings energy and innovation. Why not value both?" The debate continued for hours. Finally, the eternal voice called for a vote. Not on whether to destroy Earth, but on something bigger. A proposal to restructure the entire Galactic Council. The vote was close. Very close. But in the end, it passed. The Compact of Stars was signed 3 months later. The old Galactic Council was dissolved. In its place, the Grand Assembly was formed. Every species, regardless of age or size or power, would have equal representation. Decisions would be made by consensus, not by decree. The quarantine on Earth was lifted. Humanity and the Free Systems Alliance were welcomed as founding members of the new order.